Any other, okay, I just stopped.
And
Okay.
it's a little bit complicated because there's a lot of different kinds of recs. There's recs that you can, there's recs that you have to have. So in some states, if they have like a renewable portfolio standard or something like that, people have to buy them for certain reasons, and recs in those states will actually be worth different amounts. Whereas a rec like this, that's just kind of on the open market, nobody's being mandated to use them for any reason. They'll have a different value themselves, and there's quite a few different kinds.
So there are actually different markets of recs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're a big polluter, you can buy a bunch of them.
Well, I
So
assume
what
there's
do-
probably, or there's some states might have stricter, like California, for them, might have stricter
Yeah.
regulations, so those companies would be out buying recs from other states where they may not have as strict, or they're creating renewables,
Sure.
where we don't necessarily have a local market driving it.
There's not a local Nebraska
Yeah, okay,
market yet.
okay, sounds good. Any other questions or comments?
We can have Nick get on that.
Appreciate
Yeah,
you
of
coming
course.
in, this is very
Yeah, of course.
informative.
Thank you.
I'll have to admit this, I had
Um,
no idea that this was a thing.
Yeah, if you
but
have any other questions, feel free to reach out. But yeah, thanks again.
Thank you.
so
Thank
much,
you.
thanks for coming.
Item number 12, presentation and consideration of designating an alternate truck route. Jake, you're up.
Alright, this was on our, long-range transportation planning, study that was done a few years ago. This roadway, was built, you can see kind of on the map there where our city limits end. It consists of Isaac Walton Road and County Road 294. This was identified in that study, and I just kind of got the ball rolling a couple months ago. NDOT concurred with the alternate truck route. The county concurred on the administrative level. What would happen is we would approve it tonight. If you want to designate it as an alternate truck route, and then the county would have to turn around and do the same thing. I'll clarify that it is an alternate truck route. Trucks are not mandated to take this route, so trucks could still come through town and then go south, or come up and then go west. But it is a shorter route and a little bit easier to turn. The state would put up the alternate truck route signs you see there that are actually on the highway. The signs that are on County Road 294 and Isaac Walton Road, that would be the responsibility of the city.
I got a question for you.
John?
So, I was the beginner of this, John Hughes and I.
Cool.
So, when we did this, also on the end of Isaac Walton to the east and to the state, there's supposed to have been $750,000 set aside to do that S-curve on the end. So, that's something that was all part of that development of that. So you need to jump on that to see if, so we don't have to supply the funds.
Where
Mel, and when Mel was a part of that too.
Pinch your way off of 15 Walton,
Okay.
while he's talking about that intersection, it's a tight curve for the
Yeah.
trucks to get.
So improving that's,
Improving that intersection.
that price tag was $750,000.
$750,000 was,
Do you need me to make you a memo note on this? I'll make you a memo note.
And I know at that time that, I was part of the construction, it talked about having a 4-lane,
Mhm.
and that was one area where they were gonna improve. But nothing really had been said
Yep.
anymore.
I guess just an update on the 4-lane. I did talk with our district engineer, Tom Goodborn, a couple weeks ago, and the 4-lane is basically non-existent at this point. They did overlay that section last year, or the year before. So that the 4-lane is a distant project. It doesn't have a date or a time. He did mention that the time to bring that back up and possibly talk about that again is when the interstate goes to 6 lanes all the way out to the Seward interchange, and at that time, that interchange would be designed to handle the 4-lane north, and then that would set up the 4-lane project.
and then you I don't know if anyone else put you in on this or not, but originally, the railroad overpass is supposed to go west, be developed and moved to the west, and that was all part of that plan. And that would be actually, the overpass would move to the west and actually come into Tenneco a little bit,
Oh, really?
yes.
Okay.
That was all part of that development and the $750,000
Okay.
of straightening out that S-curve.
Right. Okay.
It would have been done a long time ago, but there was a white owl that was living in there, habitating in there. It was a species that was, I guess, threatened, and they wouldn't let us do it.
Those are project killers.
Yeah.
The 750 was coming from where?
Yeah,
State.
I would guess that that S-curve improvement would happen should the 4-lane ever happen.
That wasn't earmarked. So it's
Any
been
other
sitting
questions?
out there waiting for us?
Not us, the state to do it. Spin your life.
Will there ever be a light at that? I'm just wondering with the trucks going from a full stop, going on to, especially going south, it starts to incline pretty right there. Is that a concern as far as?
Wasn't a concern to state traffic.
Okay.
And there's a lot of trucks that go in and out of there now from Tenneco.
Right, I'm just, yeah, I don't know what they anticipate for additional trucks going through there, but, okay. So any other questions or comments for Jake on this? If not, you don't have any action on this, right? You just wanted to talk.
Springing where?
We have a resolution.
Do we have a,
I don't know that there's a resolution in there. Is there?
this is number, item number 12, right?
Presentation.
In consideration of designated, oh, you want us to designate it, right? If the council wanted to designate it this time? So that would be the action, there'd be a motion to designate this as an alternate truck route.
And then we would, just for all the pieces here, then we would also have to go to the county.
Correct.
And because a portion of this is in theirs, and they would also have to designate.
Yes.
And then if we both agreed to do so, then it would be designated. But if the county says that they don't wanna designate it, then it's basically dead.
Correct.
So, and I think in the meantime of that, and John, I don't know, I mean, I know you were involved in it before, we probably would wanna update Tenneco directly and go actually meet with them and let them know as well. If this is something, I know it's, cause it was in our strategic plan
Yeah.
too, that you guys had did back in like 2013.
It
This
was
is
to
one of the
meet-
10 identified projects in the strategic plan.
It was to meet the 100-year flood, is the reason why they built the road.
Right.
But the only thing is, I agree with Josh, if you drive a semi, or even drive a big truck, and we make that designated truck route, you can't make that hill. So, we might have other people coming at us.
Well, I'm just saying, once you get through downtown, coming from the north, you're going down the hill to the tracks, and you're going past Orchland up over there, and then once you get up there, I'm just saying that if a vehicle is coming up there, and there's a semi that just pulled out in front, I mean, it's gonna surprise some people, at least initially, until the local traffic is aware to watch for it, and that's why I was just curious if there was a projection of, if they hit a certain traffic count of semis, does that then warrant something there, whether it's a light or something else just to alleviate any concern?
They didn't indicate any concern about meeting traffic signal warrants at that intersection, but that's something I can bring up to them. See
And I'm not as worried, I guess, on 34, just because it's more wide open, it's flat, you have
Right.
really good visibility,
Mhm.
really good sight lines. It's just the topography of 15 with the bridge there and going then down to the north as well, so.
The other thing is, I don't think it would pass state, because if you're the semi and you're running a 52-footer, you take up the whole S-curve, and there ain't room for another one to turn. So I'm just saying that, I just don't think the state would even allow it till they do the update, because of, you take both lanes and you try to make that curve.
I guess for right now, we're just looking, it's an excellent point, as far as, if we're okay though with this being the route, then I guess that's what I'd ask if the council wants to consider that for now, and then obviously that's Jake's problem to figure out, so, tell him hi for us. Yeah, Chris?
I was just questioning, the speed coming up over that, it changes to 50 It's still not 30, it changed to 50 already,
50,
right, coming up and
across
over.
the bridge. Yeah.
Right on the
Yeah.
bridge, yeah.
And we've tried to discuss both, not as much on this end, because the truck route and revisiting now is something we've kind of undertaken over the last few months with Jake on board. But we've also discussed the speed on the other end of the overpass, because once we get to the other side, with the rail campus coming in, you're also gonna have more truck traffic at the other end now, once that slowly progresses and builds out.
Did we ever think about getting with the county and going, instead of using that as a truck route, go 2 miles south, you know, from Highway 34, go 2 south, that comes out by the old
On
Rivendell?
Fletcher?
Yeah,
We had talked at one
Yeah.
time about having a second egress from the rail campus onto that road, and then taking that north, or taking that south to Fletcher, and then over towards 15. It's just a massive expense because it's such a long road, and if you're gonna do that, you might as well go south and connect it to where it's paved. I'm sorry, I keep saying, go north to the railroad tracks and then connect it to where it's paved going to 34. And so, we had talked about it at one point, but it was so cost prohibitive at this point that unless we had like a major user or industry wanting to go in there that could justify it because of a sheer amount of truck traffic, that it would warrant something like that. I mean, I think that's always a possibility, and I assume if we got to that point, we could always change the alternate truck route, right?
Oh, yeah.
So it's just, if you actually map out the miles, that's a lot of paving, so, yeah.
And I'd also note with the passage of the comprehensive plan and the transportation element of that one, that if we were gonna hard surface in some way to designate a truck route out to Fletcher and over, that the surfacing of that versus the surfacing of Bluff Road out to 34 or Waverly Road out to Matsky Highway is probably designated as a higher priority in our comp plan, so.
And it's currently a county road, so, the idea would be is if the rail campus were to have a high user on that end, we would then annex that into the city presumably, and then, you know, we'd have to have that discussion with the county, but we just never got that far because of the high cost. But I mean, it's a good idea because it keeps all the traffic then kind of behind all the industry, behind all the commercial, and even like, cause you know, even along like where McDonald's and all those businesses are, you have all these multiple turns off of there. It makes it a lot simpler if you have the semis going back behind them to the west, but it just wasn't feasible at this time to propose that.
I would be curious of the truck count. I mean, based off of where we're removing trucks versus the number of trucks that actually come from the north on 15 toward town,
It's
and how
not-
many we're truly removing.
It's probably one of the lower numbers, but it's
Yeah.
just not viable to, without having the old bypass proposal that we had in the old comp plan where we literally bypassed the city on 15. A majority of our truck traffic's
Right.
north-south 15 all the way through.
Exactly, I was just stating the point from the standpoint of how, by designating this, how much truck traffic are we really removing from, essentially, I mean, who this really helps out, in my opinion, is the corner of 15 and 34 and that tight turn. I mean, and there is something that needs to be done with that.
It helps out Mel's crew not having to go out and replace that sign in the middle of the island on Main Street once a week that trucks keep taking out.
It is a shorter route too. I mean, I don't know on the truck driver whether that's gonna be quicker, but it is shorter.
And, you know, if you recall, way back when the state was talking about future proposals for 34, one idea was to get rid of the islands and do a 3-lane through there, which would allow then the businesses on either side to recapture more of it with the street with a wider sidewalk, which would give a little bit less of a cramped feeling downtown, and you could then address some of those turn issues a little bit better, if that were in fact to happen, so.
And that is a recommendation in our comp plan that you adopted, is a lane diet on 34.
Any questions,
No
comments?
chocolate in that one.
All right, thank you, we'll go on, did you wanna, we need to designate this,
I
don't
said
we?
we need to designate this?
Yeah, does someone like to make a motion to designate this truck route? If not, that's fine, I just, alright, let us know if you don't want to, what the reason is, so we can try to address it. Yes,
I'll
John?
make the reason until that we get the feedback from the state that it will pass as a truck route. They're on that S curve to the east. Because like I said, I wanna make sure it's safe.
I think they,
Have they signed off on this, do you know?
yeah, I was.
I can ask that very specific question and follow up on the number of trucks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Expect. I think that.
Is there any hurry on this?
Nope.
Okay, is the county in a hurry to take this up? You okay, okay.
They might not even want to do it.
They may not. Yeah, like, take all the time you need, 3, 6, 8 years, go ahead. So unless somebody really wants to push this tonight, we can go ahead and table it for now, and then Jay can get you the information. And then if we have it in 2 weeks, we can bring this back, or as soon as possible after that. Is that fair? Okay, do we need a motion to table this? Does someone make a motion to table this and tell us the next possible?
So moved.
Okay. Motion and second. If you register your votes, please display the votes.
In favor, Wolfen, Camp, Fritz, Singleton, Schmidt, Hendrick, motion carried.
All right, thank you. Item 13, consideration of a resolution adding a handicap and disabled parking space south of Highway 34, east side of 4th Street, by Union Bank. Jake?
I've got it displayed up there. Was approached by Union Bank to install a handicap stall. Was on site, talked with the branch manager, and also their contractor, and just talked about making sure they're meeting ADA standards. They've gotten requests from customers, I believe, so.
Are they required to have so many though?
Oh, yeah.
How many do they have?
Then one to
In the back.
There's one on the south side there,
Behind.
right here.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
It's just not close to the front door.
Oh, I got you.
It's not
Yeah.
close enough.
That's not a, I don't believe that access on the south side of their building is a public access.
Right, so this is not the way in. This is the main entrance over here.
Okay. And they're okay with doing that as opposed to just, are they moving that one over there?
No,
They're gonna have both?
yeah.
Any questions or comments?
I'll introduce the resolution.
It has been, let's see, the resolution has been introduced and is designated as resolution number 2019-03. Would anyone like to move that this resolution be passed and adopted?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second, please register your votes. Please display the votes.
In favor, Wolfen, Camp, Fritz, Singleton, Schmidt, Hendrick, motion carried.
Alright, thank you. Item 14, discussion on pool warranty claim. Greg?
Yes, we had a bit of peeling paint issues going on down at the pool, for a number of years now, and we've worked extensively with the contractor that installed that system. I believe it was installed in approximately September of 2004 is when it came in. We couldn't find any nature of repair that was gonna work. I know they've painted over it before and it just continues to keep doing it. And so to help protect ourselves then, we decided to file a claim and get ourselves at least in line based on the warranty. And so we did file that claim. Pat filed it pretty far back actually. I think her claim was filed in, look for the date on here. I think approximately May of 17, or no, June of 17. And so once we got the claim in, we were able to secure our date for our warranty on it. And so we've just been working with that contractor, trying to see if there's anything we can do to repair it or do anything else. And so, in discussing them, they went through every route possible, looked at all different possibilities, and they basically said, no, we'll just have to pay out the warranty on it. The warranty stated that the fee that you get back pursuant to the warranty for any defects, basically it's a 20-year warranty, and for every year that you use it, they reduce the value of what we paid to put it in by 5%. And it just keeps going every year that we used it. And so we did forward this on with the agreements and warranties and settlement agreements to the city attorney, had Kelly look it over. We couldn't find any other way to recoup any more money, so rather than just letting it go, we thought we might as well at least get something out of it. And so that is the release and settlement agreement for the amount of $3,760.59.
Any questions or comments on the item?
So are we gonna be looking to repaint this or do something with it? I mean, what
I
kind of problem
think
does it
we're
cause
just-
other than cosmetic?
Cosmetic, and then we're just, if it gets too far into it, you may get into seals and things like that where it will leak due to the nature, because that's used as the system to kind of, in different valleys and things like that, to seal it off. So we just have to keep on top of it and keep messing with it. At some point, we may have to look at putting in a new roof system, ultimately, if it gets too bad, so. But we'll keep trying to have Bob's crew out there manage it and working with the pool crew to make sure they keep us up to date when we have issues, so we can get on top of it right away and not let it fester and get worse.
Any other questions or comments? I will entertain a motion. Before us, we have consideration of settlement agreement for pool warranty claim.
Do you wanna move to accept the claim?
Or approve it. Yeah, approve the settlement agreement.
Move to approve the settlement agreement.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, please register your votes. Please display the votes.
Nine in favor, Wilken, Campbell, Brooks, Singleton, Smith, Henderson.
We'll just skip down to 16 real quick. When you report,
Yeah, just quickly, getting started back in the civil service process, we did undertake written oral exams, and so we're moving into background checks, and we'll do final approval to fill the one vacancy we have within the police department. Parks, Rec, streets, everybody's kind of been battling that winter weather, and so we continue to work on that. And then another big one is, we're looking to do some pivots and stuff at the golf course, the golf, I don't know what to call us, team. It's Jake, myself, Bob, Adam, Cody, and Dan. We're gonna meet on Thursday. We're gonna look at moving up a project and trying to shift some stuff around to get the roof. The wood shake shingle roof is just probably done now, and we need to move on and go put a traditional roof on that. And so we've gotten the quotes and stuff, and so we're gonna look at that as a pivot project. Just due to some of the issues we've had up there in the clubhouse, back in the kitchen and stuff. We wanna have a nice area for Par 15 to operate in, and they keep having to have different hassles due to the roofing system up there. And so we're gonna meet, then we'll also talk about some drainage things that we've presented previously to the Parks and Rec Committee, and just shore all that up, and then get ready to get started for the golf season. So we'll be busy with that here this week.
any questions? There's a motion to accept the report.
So moved. Second.
The motion and second. Please register your votes. Please display the votes.
Nine in favor, Wilken, Campbell, Brooks, Singleton, Smith, Henderson.
Is there future agenda items? Yes, John.
We need to put on there the, I don't know, discussion of approving the purchase agreement for the 346 North Third, is that what it is? Or North Second? North Third.
Yeah, we'll need to have Kelly handle that, and then we'll do that. It's not for the property, it's for the house.
Moving the house.
Moving the house.
Purchase agreement to move the house.
This is the fire station property that we purchased north of the fire station.
We got
So,
a person that's interested and we want to continue to move forward so we don't lose opportunity.
Did you want to add
And
something?
add the refuge discussion.
Any
Garbage.
garbage? Yeah. Anyone else? Okay, are you gonna do upcoming events real quick, Jonathan?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Again, appreciate everyone's participation in the recent annual awards banquet. Also want to mention that we have our upcoming luncheon. We're doing a professional development series this year on Thursday, February 21st. We're going to do workplace wellness. And so we'd encourage you, for you and your coworkers, to invite them to participate in our professional development series. Thanks.
Thanks, Jonathan. So with that, we'll go back to item number 15, strategy session with city attorney to provide negotiation guidance concerning real estate interests at the commercial rail campus development area.
I move that city council go into closed session with the mayor, city administrator, Jonathan Jenks, city engineer, G.A. Clausen, and the city attorney for the protection of the public interest and to discuss the city of Seward commercial rail campus development area real estate interest and to provide the city attorney with negotiating guidance for a period not to exceed 30 minutes.
we're gonna need 1 hour.
Not to
1
exceed
hour.
1 hour. Is there a second?
Delay my
Second.
We have a motion and a second.
A Mountain Dew or something.
Please register your votes. Please display the votes.
Everett, Wilson, Hanford, Fritz, Singleton, Smith, Hendrick, motion.
The council is ordered to go into closed session for protection of the public interest to discuss the city of Seward commercial rail campus development area, real estate interests, and provide the city attorney with negotiating guidance. We are in closed session. Thank you, everyone.
There'll be no action.